Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the second Klesha from the Tantra of the Yoga Sutras. So the second cause of suffering as put forward by Patanjali. So if you haven't seen my first video on the first Klesha, I will link it down below for you to check that out first. Otherwise, let's get started. Today, it's asmita, and I hope I'm saying that right. It is a Sanskrit word. But basically what it means is egoism, our individuality, and our belief that we are separate from others. Now, this is pretty loaded because in many ways, I support individuality, and there is a lot of benefits to individuality. You know, we rely on ourselves for our sense of character, and our individuality brings us uniqueness. We have unique skill sets. We're all very special and unique in our own ways. And I don't think that what is meant, or what Patanjali was trying to convey here, was that being different or having different qualities about you are inherently bad or cause suffering. I really think my take on this, and I think this is where he was going with it, on how it causes suffering, egoism, individuality, is not the fact that we're different. It is when we try and peg ourselves above or below someone else by comparison based on our differences. So there's a big difference there. So we can celebrate our differences and we can be happy for everyone and their uniqueness. Or we can use our differences, our individuality, to create division amongst us. Now, this is super prevalent and relevant right now when you think about the drastic division between people in political parties, in, anti-vaxxers, vaxxers, breastfeed, no breastfeed, free the nipple, conservatism. Whatever the issue is, it's very easy to try and make yourself feel better or more right or above somebody else based on some difference between the two of you. This isn't just a matter of racial tension where it's a skin color difference where we're pegging each other against each other in that way. There are so many ways that this manifests. Rich and poor, religious, not religious, different scientific views, COVID follower, COVID rejecter, masker, anti-masker. All of these things are very small parts of who we are, and we use them to attack another person to make ourselves better than them. I think in that respect, egoism, individuality, and how we perceive and act on that individuality is what causes suffering, not individuality itself. Now, if you want to learn more about this, I would highly recommend studying some of Eckart Tolle's material. It's very much directed at our ego and how our ego tries to find a way to one-up other people so we can feel better. And this happens with negative things too. We can one-up ourselves from people on, oh, I have more money than you, or I'm more successful than you, or my beliefs are more correct than you. But we can also do it in a backhanded way. Well, I suffered more than you. You don't understand me, and you'll never understand because my life was harder than yours. You had it easy. Whatever. It can be used in both areas, on both sides of the story, to make ourselves feel more important in some way. Well, I'm more important because I overcame more adversity. Or I'm more important because I have more degrees. Whatever that is. That's a big cause of suffering because we're separating ourselves. And it's so easy to just divide ourselves and hate the other person who doesn't think or believe or whatever it is the same way that we do. And the way to get through this type of suffering and a way that we can humble ourselves and become more as one. And the only way we're really going to eradicate hatred and create more love in this world isn't by tearing other people down and making ourselves better. Like this happens in the spiritual community too. Well, I'm spiritual and they're not. I'm enlightened and they're not. Oh, those poor ignorant souls. They're just drinking and doing drugs. Oh, but I'm enlightened. I'm better than that. No, it is through seeing the humanity in others, regardless of what they look like, what they believe, or how they act. It's through finding something about them that you see in yourself. A mother just trying to do her best by her children. A father doing what he thinks is right to support his family. A person trying to be validated who's never validated as a child. You might think, oh, it's just coming across in such a rude way. Well, that might be so, but you have to understand that we each had our own struggles, that we've each went through adversity in very different ways. Even the same people that were brought up in the exact same situation were all drastically different because we had different friends. We had exposure to each other, like 3 sisters, all drastically different personalities. That nature versus nurture argument. But can you see that even those people that you disagree with might have something loving about them, that there's something good in there? And through more acceptance of that and more cultivation of that ideal, that's how we overcome the egoism and we can embrace our individuality instead of perpetuating the fact that because we're different, one is better than the other. If that makes sense. And this is completely 100% possible. The love of my life that I've been with for 13 years is probably the polar opposite of me. We have different political opinions. We have different ways of parenting. We are completely different. I'm super into yoga and nature and the environment, and he is a huge gearhead who loves fast cars and loves to puff out his diesel smoke from his big jacked up truck. And that's okay because I still accept him for who he is and I see all the good that he does. Instead of focusing on the things about him that are different or that I disagree with, I accept the things about him that are good. And there's a billion different people in this world that we could practice that on and find a lot more unity and community and togetherness and create so much more love and acceptance in this world rather than suffering. So just some food for thought there. That's a huge loaded Klesha, asmita, egoism, individuality, and separateness. And again, I really want to drive home the fact that individuality is not a crime and that it is in no way bad. It's our view of it. It's how we treat that individuality that makes a difference. And definitely check out Eckart Tolle. I will link one of his books down below if you wanted to deep dive into this. I found it extremely interesting and it really changed the way that I viewed other people in society. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again for the 3rd Klesha. Subscribe down below if you haven't already to be updated with that video. See you in the next one. Bye.